We're still talking to DAOF. He's the Vice President for Mindanao for Philconsa. And we had a hanging question. The GPH, the negotiators are purposely quiet. Is it because they don't want to be confronted with perhaps people like you and me questioning every turn, every up and down of the discussions, and how come they have probably accepted certain terms of the MILF, and that's why better quiet. When the final product is perhaps crafted, that's the only time they introduce it to the public. What do you think of that strategy?
Well, as a citizen, I think the peace panels,
yes,
both of them,
yes,
they owe it to the general public to let it be known what they are agreeing about, what they're talking about. Yeah. Like for instance, they agreed lately about this 10 key point discussion decision points. Yes. But there, it is too general. They stated that the new political entity will be just an administrative. Will have an administrative authority. Yes, yes. But at the same time, it is too general. Now, what I'm saying is that they should even have not only these political forums in Mindanao, but they should be open here, everywhere. They must have a media blitz to say, hey, this is what we are going, these are the things that we have. But the most important thing is, that is silent in the GPH MIL epistle, is the declaration, affirmation, and recognition of the Philippine sovereignty, in territorial integrity, and its constitution. Okay. Now, if you put up let me finish. If you put up, if they agree, I would say they should stand pat on their position, not to put up this moral sub-state, and instead use the present charter of the ARMM or an amended charter of the ARMM. Why? Okay. Because if we proceed to continue in creating a moral sub-state, what will happen? The other regions may claim.
Agreed.
Claim their own sub-states.
Correct.
Not only that, certain segments of our society who wants to change the form of our government
can do the same
thing and arouse interest in creating in this charter change for parliamentarian.
Especially Cebuanos are already getting unhappy because most senators, most vice presidents and presidents are all coming from Luzon. There are hardly any Cebuanos or Mindanaoans or Visayans that are being given the chance.
I agree.
Because most of the major networks are here in Manila. Most of the major businesses are here in Manila. 40% of the population is here in Manila. So what are the chances for Visayans and Mindanaoans participating, supposed to be in a Republic of the Philippines, not a Republic of Luzon?
Correct, correct.
Now, I had a hanging question. The OIC recognizes the MNLF as a representative of the Bangsamoro.
Yes.
There is more or less a designated area or territory that they are supposed to be administering somehow. Now, the government enters a peace agreement, a new front with the MILF. The MILF is claiming the same area. So, what happens?
As I have prefaced...
We are compounding the problem.
As I prefaced my statement a while ago, both the MILF and the government must realize, if not recognize, that the areas, the issues, and the people they're talking about is covered by a peace agreement between the government and the Moro National Liberation Front.
Mr. DAOF, do you agree that the position of government now is they are more focused with the MILF because they seem to think, or it is their impression that it is the MILF that has the force, and because the MNLF looks like a spent force, so they are giving them minuscule attention. Would that be a correct impression?
I think, you mean to say that they believe that the MILF has more armed forces?
Yes.
Than the... Well, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I think that the government also recognizes that the MNLF has a force, a latent force, if they will start insurrection again.
If they create trouble.
If they create trouble.
Okay.
But the thing is this, they have an agreement. And the government is really trying to comply with this commitment. No, because you see, how long was 1996?
Yes, yes.
It is almost, 18 years, 15 years, something like that. And there is no completion yet of the development programs that were supposed to be done. Now, before I forget, if indeed, as I have said, in as much as the Moro Islamic Liberation Front and the Philippine government is almost there, in other words, in a baseball game, they are on the third, they are on the home run pace, you know. I think it's about time for them to put their act together.
Okay.
And concentrate in talking as no longer political and technical adversaries, but rather develop shall I say, strong, better relations and cooperation in addressing post-war problems and conflict transformation.
Are you optimistic that that the MILF and the MNLF can come up to some form of a modus vivendi, or that they will eventually embrace each other as brothers? Do you see that happening, or it's almost like water and
it is
oil?
Also an if. If the MILF renounces its secessionist stance and demand for independence by recognizing, I may be repetitive, but this is very, very important. If they recognize the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, and if they believe that they are Filipinos and Muslims, then there could be peace.
Yes, but will they be willing to embrace?
I do not know.
With the MNLF? Are you optimistic that is possible? Especially considering that they're talking about the same territory.
Well, there is some degree of optimism, I would say. A guarded optimism. Let me put it that way. Because this is my prognosis. Before, they were radicals. They don't want to talk of anything. They just want to talk about secession and independence. Now they put up something below that thing to put up a substation.
Sure, they compromise.
In other words, they compromise now. Which, as I have said, and remember this, I'm telling this, and I'm bringing this attention to Chairman Al-Haj Murad, you know, that this move is a departure from their long-standing secessionist stance and demand for independence. This is a pragmatic and flexible approach towards peace. This could be interpreted as a shift in policy from radicalism to moderation. Nevertheless, it is, in other words, it is not only in words,
but in deeds. Let's talk about referendum.
All right.
How many more referendums is needed for, let's say, for a particular city or for a particular province who have previously said, we don't want to be part of that, and then they are forced to be included into the area that the MILF wants to be included, let's just say, in this new autonomous political entity?
Well, regarding, you're referring to the plebiscite.
Yes, plebiscite,
because this agreement between the MILF
has to be
and the government, it has to pass through a plebiscite. Now, if that's the case, now, I don't know how we can prevent that.
If you are a province previously who said, even in the past who said, we don't want to be part of that, and then the government says, no, we are going to include you because the MILF says we are going to include you.
Well, I do not have a crystal ball, you know? I do not have a crystal ball to answer that. As a matter of fact, I am trying myself to be bold Because very few people can say this.
This is why I gave you this chance.
At the same time,
okay.
you know, I am just trying, as I've said, I am looking at the future for a better future way of life of my brother Muslims and sisters.
Okay. Representative Congressman, former Senator Pong Biazon.
All right.
Mayor Lobrigat.
Uh-huh.
Former Governor, Vice Governor Manny Piñol.
Uh-huh.
Advised President Pinoy. They are against the interference of Malaysia as part of the third party in the negotiations between the MILF and the GPH. Your position on the Malaysians participating in the entire peace talks?
This is, we are covered, you know, we are a member of the international community.
Okay.
We are covered as a member of the United Nations.
Okay.
We have protocol and diplomatic understanding with Malaysia.
Okay.
We do not, I think that the Philippines should not add more problems, you know. And this should be approached in a very, very, very highly diplomatic way. In the sense that Malaysia is trying to help, but it's not enough.
Okay.
My advice to the MILF and to the government is to seek further advice from world leaders. We should not only depend on Malaysia.
Okay.
Malaysia is there, yes. But is it enough? I think we should also look. Because, you know why? As I have said, what is the peace process? One of the elements of the peace process is the quantification of the development and reconstruction process.
Okay.
And who will finance this? We are, in other words, these are two people, the MILF, the MNLF, and the government are like two young people who are dreaming to develop Mindanao.
Yes.
The problem is both of them need the help of people of the international community to do this.
But these three officials have advised the president to do away with Malaysia because it is not an impartial judge.
Well, they are entitled to their opinion, but as far as I'm concerned, we should also look at the implication.
Okay.
The diplomatic implication of doing such things. Because there are also things that Malaysia, while we are not, while some of us, or in other words, are disgruntled with Malaysia, there are still many good things probably that Malaysia can do if we do it the positive way. In other words, if we really develop more discussions, especially in the area of investment and development, then that's another story.
Okay. You were quoted here as saying that the Philippine government should exercise firm resolve to pursue continuity in the planning and implementation of socio-economic development initiatives in conflicted areas in Mindanao. This is consistent with and in support of undertaking a proactive policy direction that is aimed at designed to advance and attain progress, stability, security, while intensifying its negotiations for a peace settlement with the MILF.
Of course.
No problem. But here is now the question. When the government attempts to undertake projects, road building, etc., the MILF is against this. Because they say, you will render us irrelevant if you continue with all these projects.
Well, that's the reason why. You see, let me explain. I'm glad that you say this.
Okay.
The MILF, from my little understanding, is using the short gestation period or longevity of the tenure of office of any administration. While their leaders can stay
forever,
in office
as long as God wills it.
Now, the government does not have that luxury.
Yes.
Now, but at the same time, I would say that in doing so, why I said this, I believe that pardon my, I hope that I am not misunderstood by the MILF here, is that whether we like it or not, the show must go on.
Okay.
We as a people and as a country must continue the development of our resources while also intensifying our sacred interest to have a peace agreement. We cannot wait forever. We cannot be stagnant. The government should not be stagnant.
So you agree that the MILF should not stand
yes, they should not.
Okay.
They should not. They should not.
What do you say about what
as a matter of fact, excuse me, as a matter of fact, they should show cooperation.
But they say, oh, if you do that, we will be rendered irrelevant.
No, that is short-mindedness. Pardon my word, but that is, I hope, in God's will, I am saying the right things, and I'm being heard. I am being heard as a man who is thinking of not only of what is good now, but for the future of my brothers and sisters in Islam, because right now, what can you do? We cannot allow Mindanao to be retarded and be stagnant forever. Because, look, we have been negotiating this for 15 years. The GRP-MILF negotiation has been going on for 15 years. Are we going to wait forever that before we start development? And besides, it's a misconception that the whole of Mindanao is on fire. No, it is not.
Only southern Mindanao, certain parts of southern Mindanao, yes.
It's only there.
Yes.
But if you go to Mindanao, you go to Davao, to go to other places, Zamboanga and other places, hotels are full of visitors, investors are coming, etc., etc. Now, but let not this problem be a hindrance to our development. This is what I'm saying. But at the same time, I'm also calling the attention of the government to be more vigilant and stay pat to each and have the resolve to really say, this is only what we can commit. This is only what we can do. We are mandated by our constitution that even our president cannot countermand.
Or else?
Yeah. Is
there an or else there?
No, there is no or else. What I'm saying is this. Even President Benigno Aquino III, our president, cannot countermand the Constitution. He is mandated to serve everybody.
I have a question. You mentioned a while ago that this conflict is a domestic insurrection. It is not a conflict between the Philippine government and foreign nationals. Are there foreign interests involved in this country that is somehow complicating, creating the issues more complex because there are foreign interests involved?
I do not know that.
Okay. You don't want to speculate?
No, not that I do not want to speculate, but actually I do not know. Well, I do not know that there are this and that about this who are influencing this and that. No, I do not know. I really do not know. But, as I've said, you must remember that, as I've said, when you quantify development and reconstruction, what does that mean? That means influx of investments, influx of development assistance, influx of developing mutually beneficial cooperation with foreign nationals, with foreign governments. Okay. Now, if that's what you are talking, if that's what we are talking about, then of course there are interests with many countries.
It is very interesting that you mentioned here that it is actually the Philippine government that is matriculating all these years the peace negotiations.
Yes, as it is. Because to be very honest and frank about it, the way I look at it, the escalation of this conflict has been brought about by so much loose talking.
Okay.
Loose talking by big people, down from up down. Now, I think this should be something that, hey, okay, this is the problem. Trash it out.
Okay. I have another question for you.
Yes.
What is the role here of Republic Act 9054? An act to strengthen the organic act for the ARMM should be the principal basis for the creation of a new political entity in the region in lieu of the Moro substate. You mentioned this.
I mentioned that because whether we like it or not, the creation of the ARMM
yes.
is a positive is a positive move of our government to at least have a region that is focused for the development of the area, which happens to be predominantly domiciled by Muslims.
Okay.
And so this, instead of creating a moral sub-state,
Okay.
if we only amend
Yes.
this
Republic
Republic Act,
Yes.
you will not need to, there's no need to amend the Constitution.
Okay.
Because, and as I've said, if you amend the Constitution, if you allow it to create a moral sub-state, what will happen to the other regions?
Other regions.
They
right.
will clamor for another
Yes.
sub-state. And what happened to those who would like to change the form of government? They will clamor for Chacha.
You have a Cordillera Autonomous Region already.
Yes. That's correct. And what will happen? We will be composed of regional sub-states.
And we will be balkanized.
We'll be, yeah.
Final 1 minute. Do you agree that there is only one flag, there is only one republic, and there should be only one armed forces?
Absolutely.
And there should be only one Filipino nation?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
No argument to that?
No argument to that. I'm sorry to say, but there is no but of it or ifs along that line, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I hope I explained myself, and as I've said, I'm doing this not only as a self-centered opinion. Nobody
Not
has
at all.
the monopoly of self-righteousness. But this is something that we Muslims must look ahead.
But I'll tell you, some people have more of self-righteousness than others. They have the basis for it. Anyway, thank you very much, SAEED DAOF. And ito po si Erik Espina, palagi pong nagsasabi sa inyo at nag-iiwan, magmasid, makialam, higit sa lahat po ay manindigan. Dahil wala pong magmamahal sa Pilipino kung hindi ang Pilipino. Daghang salamat, maayong gabi kaniyong tanan.